And I'm really not interested in being very fair about the whole goddamn thing. Okay, I really don't think we should have fought fair against the Germans and the Japanese. I think we should have like snuck around them, and I think we should have, gone behind enemy lines and cut their goddamn throats because that was what it was at stake. I think we're literally approaching the same place right now. And I'm not talking about everybody stop, don't faint. I'm not talking about actually slitting a political opponent's throat.
Welcome back to The Unknowns. Today, boy, do we have a show. We have 4 people joining us, including me. But we are going to talk to James Carville, who has a new documentary out called Winning is Everything Stupid. I just watched it on Hulu. I recommend you go find it. It's a great documentary. In addition, today, we have the director, Matt Tiernauer, and also the executive producer, John Max. James, the thing that kept coming back to me while watching it is this like tenacity of you. You're 40 years old, you're broke, you're sleeping on Paul Battagula's couch. You didn't have much success until then, but what kept you moving forward? Tenacity, resilience, where did that come from?
I think I just didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't want to practice law. I wasn't that conscientious about it. I wasn't that good about it. And I actually had like some stupid confidence in myself that I could do this. And if I just kept staying at bat, I was going to finally get a hit. That's the best explanation I can give you. I was very late and I found out something I could do in life. I was okay as an athlete. I was okay. I wasn't a very good student at all. I was an okay marksman in the military, but nothing great. I mean, other than like bullshit, I didn't really stand out for anything.
So, John, and why did you see this story, right, as executive producer? Like, what was it about that sort of endeared you to telling this story?
I've known James since 1986. A couple years ago, Susan McHugh came to me through James and mentioned that she had an idea for a documentary about James because of his impact and his legacy. But the idea wasn't so much of like it's a look back. It turned out that we were lucky enough. We met Matt, and Matt saw this as something that was ongoing, and it took tremendous cojones for Matt to do a real-time documentary with 5,000 different things going on. But it was a way to show James, his impact, his enduring impact, his relationship with Mary, and honestly to inspire young people. James and I had so much fun doing campaigns. And if they saw what we did and that it truly is a noble profession, we thought this would be a great idea. And here we are.
Now, Matt, you obviously come to it with a director's eye. What is it about the Raging Cajun that sort of inspired you and you felt hadn't been told already? Because, my God, this man's been in the press a lot.
James is not just a TV personality and a talking head. He's a famous person who's, in a way, famous for being famous. But what does it mean? Who is James Carville? What's the consequence of James Carville and what he does? And I think that this movie does that. And little did I know that he would insert himself in such a meaningful and momentous way into the 2024 campaign. So when John said it took cojones, I thought, yeah, okay, I have some cojones. But when James started to affect the election and we didn't know what the outcome would be and we were still filming and editing, that was actually a white knuckle experience.
You were an early drumbeat, and I'm sure it was difficult for you because of the age and the acuity that you saw President Biden not having to come and bring this to a public issue. So explain that to me. Like you've known Joe Biden for a long, long time. Was that difficult to come to that conclusion and then bring it to the public eye?
Yes. In most of the things that I've done, my little crusades in life, I felt very good about. Like particularly Ken Starr. I couldn't stand him, so it was fun to just kick his ass every day. I didn't dislike the kind of woke people. I just thought they were kind of silly, so I didn't mind, drawing people's attention to that. Although not bad people, just kind of their head in the clouds. And Biden, not only did I like President Biden, I knew John and I worked. We knew very closely all the people around him and liked him and were friends of ours and on personal and professional basis. And none of it was like easy, but it was all pretty apparent to me.
How much are you in touch with those that are advising, Vice President Harris? It's interesting because she seems to be moving or appearing to be moving more to this center, right? She's got a Glock. She's showing hunting. She isn't talking about gender identities. Like, is that your impact?
Well, I mean, I can't tell you that I talked to, someone, I know people in the campaign. I've texted some of them periodically, but I think what I was saying was kind of obvious, and I, th- I think they're doing the whole language, identity language, just not engaged in that anymore. And I think the things that she's doing, they make a lot of sense. I agree with them, and I'm now of the opinion that whatever she does is great by me. I just want to win the fucking thing. Okay, I'm out of advice. This and into a little, we got to get this done. But uh, yeah, I wish they'd have done a little bit better on my advice. You got to be a little bit more different from Biden, but I think they're trying to catch up from that one answer.
You can loathe Trump, you can hate his policies, you can hate his record, but there were 74 million Americans that voted for him in the last election. What is it about the appeal of either him or repulsiveness or moving away from other policies of the Democrats that 74 million people may vote for him again?
He gives you, if your life didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, he gives you a reason. It's not because you didn't work hard enough, and not because you didn't go to school more. It's not because you made a bad geographic choice. It's all the migrants did it to you. And so he gives you uh, an excuse for whatever failure you have. If it was never your fault, it's always somebody else's fault. And it's amazing, but misogyny and racism have appeal. They've always had appeal in the United States.
So the 75 million or 74 million that may vote for Trump, in your opinion, it's based on misogyny and racism.
Some of it is. I'm not saying all of it is, but I'm saying there's certainly appeal there. I don't blanket. There might be some fine Americans that are going to vote for him. I'm not saying that there's not, but I'm saying a large part of his appeal does come from that.
You in the film had said I could, I think, just stop doing this and shut the F up, but I'm not going to do that. There is this sort of, especially with those that don't like you because you beat them in elections or have beaten them in elections in the past, there is that giddy up, that resilience that you just won't stop. Have you paused for a moment, putting aside Trump's convictions, but he's similar, isn't he? Like, he just doesn't go away. He just keeps going forward. Is there a modicum of respect for him on that issue?
So this is what I like. That there's this what I call, but James, you got to admit, all right, James, you got to admit that people feel like they've been left out. Trump gives people a sense of this. All right, you got to admit that he has tenacity. And, look, it's our job just to point out whatever's good and whatever's bad. And we should be semi neutral observers. And my point is, they didn't give Bull Connor the same press that they gave Martin Luther King. They didn't say, well, you got some people in Birmingham, you understand, that shoot school children. And then you got some preacher in Atlanta that might have siphoned off $100 from the Sunday collection basket. Let's cover it the same. James, you have to admit that Roosevelt was kind of mean to the Japanese. I mean, really, he cut the oil off. I mean, I'm not saying Okay, I'm just saying I got to be fair here, or I got to be fair, James. The Treaty of Versailles, even John Maynard Keynes said that was too harsh. I mean, yeah, maybe some people got excessive, and I think that this is literally a battle for the survival of the Constitution. And if he has some personal quality, I mean, I'm sure he loves his children. James, you got to admit that Trump loves his children. All right, so what? Or the history is piles of tenacious people that have tried to ruin civilization. I'm a uh, uh, we'll put out with the. And I don't mean you were coming at that, but you got to admit, crowd. Yeah, I got to admit one thing: the country's about to blow a gasket.
So give me the sense of what that gasket looks like. Just rattle it off to me if Trump actually becomes the next president of the United States.
Well, let's take him at his word because he's going to arrest people like Matt and John and me. He's already told you that. He said, "I'm going to use the military to round up liberals, and they're more dangerous than Putin or Xi or Kim Il Jong." He's already told you that. Take him at his word. He's going to pull for Russia. He is going to pull us out of NATO. Take him at his word. He is telling you that right to your face. And people say, well, maybe he won't do that. No, he will do that. He's doing it right in front of your face. And you know who's going to say if he gets elected? I told all of you I was going to do that. And you voted for me anyway. And people will say, well, I didn't know he said that. That's my great fear. Let people know what he said that he's going to do. And I'm really not interested in being very fair about the whole goddamn thing. Okay, I really don't think we should have fought fair against the Germans and the Japanese. I think we should have like snuck around them, and I think we should have, gone behind enemy lines and cut their goddamn throats because that was what it was at stake. I think we're literally approaching the same place right now. And I'm not talking about everybody stop, don't faint. I'm not talking about actually slitting a political opponent's throat.